Hello, all, and welcome to our YouTube channel, The Third Man Musings. Well, what a week it's been. Thrillers, upsets, rained out matches, you name it, we had it this week. And what a great tournament it's been. It's been a close contest between the bat and ball. And let's, with that background, discuss what happened in this week's matches in Group 1 and looking forward to the knockouts with us reaching the business end of the tournament. We'll be reviewing three major teams in Group 1 today: New Zealand, Australia, and England. And with that thought, let's first review New Zealand, who have qualified as the number one team from Group 1. Sumit, so what are your thoughts on New Zealand's performance so far?
So yeah, firstly we should apologize to New Zealand because I think in a preview we said they're underdogs again. So fifth state ICC tournament where they have qualified for the semis. So very kudos to them, and they have proved that even though they don't have any star players per se, but even though somebody or the other was standing up whenever it was required, and that's how they played their entire tournament. So coming to the batting, I think today's match with Ireland, every missing link was also, you know, like taken care of. And Kane came into form, hit a very good half century. Darren Mitchell, who was their finisher, also played very well. And their openers were like Conway and Allen have been in good form. Allen has been not that consistent, but again, he has an impact player, right? So he will work in some matches, but when he works, he's going to give you a very good start. And Phillips has been the Superman. So he again today was looking ominous, but sadly got out. But otherwise, this guy is also in like the best ever form I've seen him. Because he's played in IPL and never saw this level of consistency or destruction from him.
Right.
So batting wise, everything is coming together for them. Bowling wise, you like the shape of the bowling?
I think bowling. I think we would have to agree that Saudi and Bolt are holding the bowling together, right? Fortunately for them, upfront with the new ball, they're getting the ball to nip. They're getting those early wickets, and that's how they've tied teams, to low scores, right? Especially we saw the match against Australia where they bundled them out for 118. So Saudi and Bolt continuing
Mm-hmm.
in the knockouts as well will be the key to New Zealand's fortunes. Santner and Bolt will come into picture on dry pitches, right? Let's say Sydney. If they, play their first
And
semi-final there.
Sohi,
Sorry,
not Bolt.
Santner and sorry, my correction. Santner
Yeah.
and Sodhi, will come into the picture on dry pitches, especially if they have their semi-final in Sydney. They could play a major impact. And then Ferguson is always the X factor, right? Both upwards of 150 clicks can get the ball to bounce off a length. So the bowling is in good shape, but again right now, for opposition teams, if they play Saudi and Bolt off and not give them too many wickets, they can capitalize in the last 10. So New Zealand will have to be wary on that particular front.
So yes, everybody is just standing up when needed, and they will be a dangerous team whoever faces them from Group 2. And I think hopefully it's not India as per what we are seeing. So fingers crossed there, because I don't want to face them before the final
Yeah.
if we have to. So New Zealand looks sorted. I mean, they will put up a good fight no matter what. And let's see who they face in the semis, which brings us to the next contender, which is Australia. So today, Australia's match with Afghanistan was again a mystery. And I was shocked. I mean, happily shocked also, because Afghanistan gave a very good fight. It was a very interesting match. And Afghanistan, because of their immaturity, I think lost out, because they had the match in the bag two times. First before they lost four wickets in like I think 9 balls, and then after that also it was very far away. It was like the Kohli situation, right? 49 of 3 overs or something. But Rashid did a Kohli. He was the homeboy today with Sydney. That's what I heard also. Yeah, in BBL he plays for Sydney. So the selections, that's I think the major talking point for today for Australia, because this team prides itself on mental disintegration, but today I think they were facing it themselves. They destroyed themselves from within. I don't know why. So any words on the selection? Mainly Finch, Stark missing out.
Yeah, I think. Today it was very surprising, right? Now, if you, I mean, if you thought about the Afghanistan Australia match maybe yesterday, the first thing that would come to your mind is, okay, if Australia bat first, then they have to beat Afghanistan by a margin of 50 runs more than what England beat Sri Lanka,
England.
right? So the more obvious choice would have been for Australia to, win the toss, bowl first, blow away Afghanistan for a low total, maybe let's say around 100, and try to
Yeah,
chase that 100 within 8 to 10 overs, right? That would have been
yeah,
the more logical approach. And the first bowler that comes to your mind who could blow away the opposition would be Mitchell Stark, right? So
yes.
startling call by omitting him and bringing in Kane Richardson, because Richardson, okay, he's a T20 specialist, but he'll not blow away any opposition on a given day,
Mm.
right? Let's be honest with that. So that was surprising. I think Aaron Finch, we were more or less prepared for it, because we saw during the conclusion of the last match itself, he got that
Mm.
hamstring injury, and it was more or less certain he would miss this match. Tim David was more of a surprise. Apparently, in the fitness test today morning, he was just about 50-50, and they thought that the team management
Let's
thought
not risk him.
that let's not risk him. If Australia makes it to the semifinals, he can you know
Mm.
bring about a major impact there. So interesting to see if Australia make it. Will Tim David come back for the semi-finals? But again, I mean, very surprising. Australia is known for sticking to 11 throughout a tournament, who help them deliver. But I mean, today it just looked like they had a brain fade moment, honestly, in the selection.
I think we discussed on this podcast, right? Finch will get an injury eventually because they need to get green inside the side. So that happened. Surprisingly, Finch has scored 60 plus in the last match, and he was on the boundaries giving water and everything. So I don't know with the hamstring there why he was running around the boundary. So God knows what selection that was. Maybe he was playing the selfless captain, unlike our Pakistan captain. So he wants to, he knew he needed green for the 60 or 30 to get that extra push, whether batting first or batting second. So, but this Australian team, surprisingly, I won't mind facing, because India hopefully should top our group, and they should face Australia. And this is, I think, the weakest Australian team in the sense they don't look sure of themselves. Player wise, they're still very good. But I think one thing we have noticed in this tournament is not about winning or losing. It is also about how well you win and how badly you lose.
Right.
And Australia hasn't won well. So they lost very badly to New Zealand. But against Ireland and Afghanistan, they should have won by huge margins, and they barely scraped through. Because in the end, both teams were in with a chance, more Afghanistan than Ireland. But that, I think, is going to cost them the place, because expecting a miracle from Sri Lanka is a bit too much with England. So I, even if they qualify, it'll be like not the favorites Australia, which normally come in knockouts, right, in ICC tournaments.
Right.
So let's see.
And it was astonishing, even in the previous match against Ireland, right? They had them at 25 for 5. So previous Aussie teams of the
Yeah,
past would
yeah,
have maybe rolled them out for 80 from 25 for 5. They let them slip to
yes,
135,
yes.
140, right? And today also Afghanistan's match, I mean, 4 runs is a very negligible margin. So
One hit.
yeah, I agree with you
Yeah,
that Australia is ripe for the picking now. I mean, any day India would prefer, I think, Australia over England right now, because England is more well-rounded. Australia, surprisingly, in their own home conditions, are struggling, and even if they make it for
huh.
the semis, I don't see them making it past the semis at the way they are
And
playing right now.
one last word is the bowling, which really surprises me, because on paper, your Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, and Zampa is pretty much the best four-man attack you'll have, and very good all-rounders with Stoinis and Maxwell in the back end, right?
Right.
So very shocking how they don't look so penetrative and so like attacking bowlers. They look more like restrictive, especially Cummins and Hazelwood.
Right.
Stark looks good, but he gets hit, but he still has that thing of taking a wicket with his Yorker, right, which is brilliant.
Right.
Zampa has been the best bowler, surprisingly, in this tournament with his leg spinners. People are actually now playing him out like they do for the Rashids and all. So let's see. Chances are less, but yeah,
Yeah.
they all will be praying today for Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our next match,
Sumit,
which
one
is the
quick
big one.
point before we move on to England. I think the poor form of
Mhm.
Warner has been another critical point for them, right? I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
he's not even had one good inning so far, and he's always been the talisman
Mhm.
batsman for them, holding things
Yeah,
together
yeah.
with a fast-paced innings. They're struggling there, and Maxwell also has been very hit and miss, right? He's only played
Yes,
one
yes.
notable innings of
Today.
that was praiseworthy, but even he struggled.
Mhm.
So Warner and Maxwell flopping, has been a big turning point for them.
They haven't had the stand.
Yeah.
You're right. Basically, there's no standout innings because every team, India has so many Kohli, Surya innings, and New Zealand has Conway, Allen, today Williamson. Australia, barring that Stoinis knock, which was that 50 of 20 balls, I don't remember anything standing out. So the batting actually, although on paper, looked so solid, so dangerous with all the hitters, and we were talking about circuit breakers and everything. But ultimately, there has been no electricity actually to have for a need of a
Yeah.
circuit breaker with them. So let's see. I'll be happy to face them. I'll be honest than facing England or even Sri Lanka won't make it, right? Sri Lanka is not making it, so
Right.
it's England or Australia for India. So I would be preferring Australia over England, which brings us to the last match, which is tomorrow, England and Sri Lanka. So very simple equation, no determinants involved. The only thing involved will be rain. So rain or Sri Lanka win, Australia is through. Otherwise, England is through if they win, which is expected. So coming to England, as per me, the most well-rounded squad and has done way better than we imagined also because they did the best thing by not playing their X Factor death bowler, Chris Jordan. So I finally got his name right. So that guy is apparently the death specialist and he's done brilliant work in the field. He is the substitute actually. He keeps coming around. Was a very good fielder. No comments or jokes on that. But Sam Curran's form has been next level. Never expected a 120, 130 odd bowler to be so effective at the end. And Chris Wokes, without any swing, has been bowling, at the back end in the beginning. Wood we know was always going to be an X factor we discussed, and Rashid was also consistent. So as for me, the best rounded unit, and they actually look like they're peaking also at the right time because they beat New Zealand very convincingly. There was
Right.
no doubt about that match once Butler and Hale settled down. So, what do you think? Is there any chance
England
for
are,
tomorrow? Actually, Sri
yeah,
Lanka.
England are actually peaking at the
Yeah,
right time, right? After that loss against Ireland, and then their match against Australia got rained off. The match
rained
against
out.
New Zealand actually became a must-win match for them. Had they lost that match, they were well on their way out, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
showed great composure there, and the bowling, as you said, Wokes and Curran, we thought on Australian pitches they'll get hammered, but they made the most of the conditions, and the batting is now coming
Yeah.
on its own, right? The thing is, Butler and Hales both got 50s in their previous matches, and the true bounce is helping them. The ball is
Mm.
coming fast off the wicket, and they're able to play their horizontal shots, right? So they're doing well. Harry Brook has, so far delivered on his potential. He's playing those game-changing knocks in the middle.
Yes,
I
sir.
think Stokes is still a bit underutilized with the bat. I think
Mm.
they're carrying Stokes in the T20 squad more on the promise of what he's delivered in ODIs and tests as a game changer, right? In T20s, he's not necessarily a
Yeah,
game
yeah.
changer, but then we know come semifinals, come finals, he's a big match player, right? And he's done decently with the ball. So we'll have to see how Stokes and Malan as well pan out, right? But yeah, I think batting seems to be in really good shape, and then you have players like Karan who can even contribute with the bat in
The
the
bat.
lower end,
So
right? So
that was the
a lot of
point
options,
actually.
yeah.
They have this batting which can be used in multiple ways. So Malan, number three, who came at number eight in the last game because they could line up the hitters. They can use the left-right combination. So in all a very good side because in this Stokes is like a bonus player. I don't think he need his batting. He will work in those crunch games. I think he'll shine as he normally does. But he's
Right,
bowling you two overs, one in the first, one in the last, or some random thing he does. So this team has so many options. Livingston comes in and bowls four overs at times, and
correct,
nobody's able to get him.
right,
So they are very, very well equipped for all kind of conditions, and the batting can be rotated however you want. You want to put in a circuit breaker, you want to keep sending the hitters, use left, right. So really love the look of this team. Scary for me because they might be facing India. We were not expecting them to come second in this group. So let's hope Sri Lanka can pull off a miracle for tomorrow,
yeah.
and then we don't have to look at them.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, let's see.
Livingston is such an X factor player, right? Let's say even if they have to get 100 runs of the last 8 overs, till Livingston is at the crease, you can never see the match is over. So I think
Yes.
yeah,
And
he's still a scary factor, for opposition teams for sure.
And the battle 11, that's the funny part, right? I think 8 is Karan, 9 is Vokes. And then Rashid and Wood also come who are very handy with the bat. I mean, India will love to have them at 8 and 9, I think. So I really think it's all sorted for them. And tomorrow, yeah, the best
Yeah.
chance they best, the only hope is because Sydney is there, right, for
Yeah.
Sri Lanka.
So
So
Sri
the two
Lanka, yeah,
spin.
the two spin twins,
Mm,
basically Tikshana and Hasaranga. If they
Hasaranga.
get some
Mm,
purchase of the surface tomorrow, it's Sydney. Pressure of a knockout game, right? Because if England lose, they
that's
go
it.
home. So those are the
Yes,
only things
yes.
they'll have to be guarded against. But on paper, they should smash Sri Lanka tomorrow. But then Sri Lanka with the nothing to lose attitude tomorrow, if they come, the spinners get wickets, then
Yeah,
you
they'll play
never know.
freely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then you
yeah, yeah.
never know. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, and
So yeah,
viewers who are
that's pretty much
watching
it from our
this
side.
podcast, one final
Mm,
intricacy that we would like to discuss: if England win tomorrow, they will end up second, in Group One, and let's assume, matches in Group Two go on as expected. India will end up as the first team in Group One, right? So India and England will square off
mm-hmm.
in Adelaide, right? But let's assume England don't make it tomorrow and Australia qualify from Group 2. Then the semi-final between India and Australia will be in Sydney. So that is something that viewers will need to remember. Basis tomorrow's results. So that will be
Yeah,
interesting to
yeah.
see how the semi-finals pan out.
Yeah, that piece of information was surprise to me also. You told me this before, so I was like, okay,
Right.
this is a very weird kind of setting. I would expect Australia to be set up for Perth, but they has been set up for Sydney. So let's see. Maybe it's ICC's way of helping India out again, as they did for the last game against Zimbabwe. So ICC apparently is helping Kohli with the decisions also. All the umpires are with Kohli also. So everything is with India, this seems. So yeah, we'll discuss this in detail in our next
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
where we will review Group Two teams, and that'll be more entertaining because yeah, we have a lot of opinions on Pakistan and how things are going. So stay tuned for that. Anything else, Sujay?
No, so we had a great time reviewing the Group 1 matches. Look forward to our next video for Group 2. And please, as we always request, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. And we look forward to hearing your feedback. Until then, bye and take care.